Hello again. Good afternoon. Well, it's afternoon over here in Mountain Time Zone, but I hope you all had a good little break. I don't know if it's lunchtime for y'all, but I had some hot dogs that we had left over from last night. I'll just be very transparent. But hello, everybody, again. My name is Adriana. I am a college success coach with the American Indian College Fund. I started with the College Fund last August 1st, so rounding around to my first year anniversary. But I've had a lot of really great experience working with our scholarship recipients and everything. And I'm really happy to be here. Also working with first year students. So I work with the first year experience program. I actually lead the program, and we do a lot of programming, workshops, and sessions for students who are going into their first year of college. And I know there's a lot of definitions of what a first year student is, but in this little workshop session, we'll be kind of defining, sorry, my cat, he loves the camera. You'll probably be seeing him jump up here. But yeah, in the session, we'll be talking about different things to look forward to in your first year of college. And I know we have a variety of different people who are attending these workshops. So we have students who are maybe juniors or somewhere in high school who are getting ready in advance for their first year in college. Those who are going into college for the first time this fall semester, and then maybe some other administrators and educators who do work with current school high schoolers or any students really who are thinking about going into college and just kind of what to expect and everything. So, but yeah, let me just introduce myself traditionally. So, ja też Adrian Soniak, Ozolona Nashlanki Ani Bashchin, Sadesh gives me Dashchek, Ogadashnole. So I am Dane from the Navajo Nation. I currently reside in New Mexico. I am the Many Goats clan, born for the Towering House people. My maternal grandfathers are the Rock Gap people, and my paternal grandfathers are the Zia Pueblo Weavers. So without further ado, let me go ahead and get started. In the first session, I ran out of a little time, so I was trying to rush through, but I really want to start off first with advertising this event that I'm going to be hosting in August. So, and then we'll see it at the end as well of the presentation, but I'm going to be hosting a first year program virtual summer series. So it's going to be kind of like the Summer of Success conference that we're doing right now, but it's going to be more geared towards first year program students, students who are going into their first year of college. And it's for all self-identifying students going into the first year of college and helping them prepare and set expectations as they adjust from the high school to the college experience. Yes, we do kind of gear more of our language towards students who are transitioning from high school to college immediately. But of course, we also welcome anybody in any stage of life who are going into college for the first time, really. So, but yeah, we're going to be doing like longer, more detailed versions of basically what I'm going to be talking about today. And we're going to be giving out prizes, hearing from really good guest speakers and everything. So I just wanted to start off there first. And let me go ahead and copy and paste the newsletter registration. Sorry, my cat wants to get up again. So we're also doing a newsletter this summer as well. And I invite you to sign up. Again, anybody can sign up for the newsletter. Sorry, it's not. Let me just copy and paste it in here. All right, so I invite anybody and everybody, invite others as well that you know who might find the first year experience program useful. Any students, again, in any stage of life can really utilize this information if they're going into their first year of college. So, but yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the presentation. I'm going to go into presentation mode. So again, this is the workshop for preparing for your first year of college. My name is Adriana, and I am the College Success Coach with the American Indian College Fund. So here's the agenda of what we're going to be going over. So we're going to be breaking it up into 5-ish parts. So we're going to go through the introduction, and I'm going to talk about my own personal first year experience and just like different things that I learned during that time. And we're also going to take this time to define what a first year student is, just so that we're all on the same page for this workshop, as we understand that there's so many different definitions geared towards like different institutions of what a first year student is. Then we're going to look at the first year timeline at a glance. So This is going to be looking at the different cycles of each month in your first year of college. So we're going to be looking at the fall and the spring. I'm using semesters because that's what a lot of people use, but I know that there's also other structures as well, such as quarters, trimesters, but we'll get a little bit more into that as we get to that part. And then we're going to look at the examples of daily schedules of a college student, just to look at some examples. And I have some really fun characters that I pulled from a very popular TV show to use to help us do a little bit of storytelling. And then we're going to do little tips on building your own schedule, time management, and how to stay focused and motivated. I don't know why that's a stop focus. It's supposed to be stay focused and motivated. And then closing, and we'll bring up the first year summer series again if anybody wants to grab that information again. So here is my first year experience. I started college at a small private school in Forest Grove, Oregon called Pacific University in 2016. And it was about 1,000 miles away from home. My first time ever being that far away from home. I mean, you know, I've traveled and stuff, but this was like the furthest I've ever been away from home. I moved from New Mexico to Oregon, which is about 1,000 miles away. And I definitely experienced a lot of culture shock and homesickness within the first couple like weeks or months, I guess, just because it was something that I was completely different to, you know. I mean, the school that I went to is a predominantly white institution, which means that there's more, you know, like non-POCs who go to the school, non-people of color, and there's a very small percentage of students of color who go to this institution. But luckily, a lot of the students that they do recruit to the school are students from Hawaii. And I did find a lot of community with them during my time in my first year program. My best friend that I met at the school is actually from Maui, Hawaii, and I love her to death. We always talk on the phone, and we visit each other. We're long distance now. She still lives in Oregon, but we visit each other every now and then. But yeah, initially it was very, very different. Of course, there was a lot of differences that I found just within, like, you know, environment. Of course, you know, I'm coming from the desert, and Oregon is a very, very like rainy, gloomy place, you know. And I did experience vitamin D deficiencies. It's a funny story because I didn't believe it at first. You know, during our orientation, they told us that, you know, it's important to get checkups because, especially if you come from a sunny place, because this is something that can happen to you due to the lack of sun that happens, you know. And I didn't believe it until it really hit me my sophomore year, and oh my gosh, did I hit it. I really felt the effects and everything, and I lost about like 3 shades of color. It was really funny. It was really sad, but it was really funny. You know, we heal through trauma, so or we heal through laughter. Oh my gosh. But during my first year program, I actually participated in something called the Voyagers program, and it's a pre-orientation activity that happens before your orientation. So for those of you who don't understand what orientation is basically like the first week or the first couple of days before you go into your fall semester, and that's just to get you acquainted in the college campus. That's where you usually can sign up for your classes, meet your academic advisor, get a tour of campus. You also get to move into your residential hall if you're living on campus, and you know, walk and see all the offices if you need to talk to financial aid, or if you need to I don't know, just kind of like see what the campus has to offer, especially. And I did this program where we got to sign up for a bunch of outdoorsy trips. So you get to go surfing or camping, hiking, a bunch of different things. And then they also had this other one called an urban adventure, which I got signed up for because I was a little late signing on. But this was basically you spent a week living in Portland. So you got to see all different areas of Portland. And it was really cool for me to experience because, you know, I've never been to Oregon or Portland before. So it's nice to see, you know, get to know my way around the city and everything, especially because it was only like 30 minutes away from the campus and everything. But it was also really good because I got to meet a lot of friends and students around who are starting, also new students too. So this is our little cohort. There's a little bit more of us, but I'm over here posing with the statue. And then that's really where I found community too. Of course, I found a lot of community with the students who were from Hawaii. They had their own little club, and they actually planned a luau every spring. And it was really fun to be a part of that, the planning process. I didn't dance in the luau, but I was a part of the planning and volunteering and everything, and it was really fun. And there was a lot of cultural like similarities with us, like our love for spam, especially, but it was just really fun to, have that sense of community, and it really helped me bring a sense of mind and ease into being in a completely different area. But I also worked at several different offices with work study. So work study you can sign up for with the FAFSA application. And for those of you who don't know what the FAFSA application is, it's basically a free application given to you by the government that you can sign up for, you can fill out, and then you get free money basically for school. You don't have to pay it back. So it's really, really essential if you fill that out. It doesn't matter if you're going to college or if you're not, or if you're going to be applying for different scholarships. A lot of the time they're going to be requiring you to fill out the FAFSA application. So definitely get that done. If you've already gotten it done, then that's great on you. But if you haven't, then try to get that done as soon as possible whenever it's open. But anyways, I work with work study through the admissions, and basically it's just like having a job with anywhere on campus that offers work study, and you just make money and you get to keep that money. You can use it however you want. But I worked in the admissions office as a tour guide and also like an admissions rep, and the advising office just as the front desk staff, and then post office I got to work and deliver packages and everything. That was a really fun job. Joined clubs. I got to step out of my comfort zone in a lot of them. I joined the business club because I was a business student. And then I also did rugby for a little bit. That one was really, really interesting and definitely out of my comfort zone because I've never played rugby before, but I've seen it before. But that was really, really fun. I also was a part of the French club too because I was taking French classes, and that was just something different to do, And I also did the Adventures Club as well, where we got to do different trips, whether it's skiing, snowboarding, camping, ice skating, just different things like that. So lots of learning experiences within my first year as a college student. Of course, there was a lot of ups. There was also a lot of downs. I failed a class my first semester, which was economics. That was partially because it was a 8 a.m. class, and 8 a.m. in college is very different from 8 a.m. in high school, I will say. And I just didn't have the discipline at the time to get up and go to class every single day at 8 a.m. I don't know what it was, but that was something to definitely think and to go through. And I had to retake that class again. But I also faced discrimination with the school as well, and then the local businesses around the area sometimes. It was a small college town, so that was kind of the worst of it, but it wasn't anything too bad. Some roommate drama, and then setting my own schedule. So time management is going to be a really big thing here, and you're going to hear that as you go along into your journey in college. And no matter where you're at, time management is always going to be a skill that's going to be very essential for you in education in general, and setting up your schedules to make sure you have time to do projects or to go socialize or to go get something to eat. A lot of time management. So now let's look at who is the first year student. So a first year student is any traditional or non-traditional student that is attending a college, university institution for the first time at an undergraduate level. So what is an undergraduate level? That's anybody trying to obtain their associates, which is generally traditionally about a 2-year degree, your bachelor's degree, which is usually around 4-year degree, and then a certificate is usually a little bit shorter than the associates, but you can add it on to any of your associate or your bachelor degrees. So what is a traditional student and what is a non-traditional student? So you'll hear this along as you go in your undergraduate journey as well. So a traditional student, and well, there's no really difference between the two of them, just the time that they started college. So the traditional student is any student who obtained their high school diploma, GED, and immediately goes into college. So like you graduate, then you go to college the next academic year. Then the non-traditional student is any student who goes to college after a few years. So you might have waited a few years to go back to school after you graduated. You might have gotten a job, or you had other priorities you had to tend to, or just different things, and you decided to wait a few years to go to college. So it can be any stage of life, but no matter what, if you're going to college for the first time, you're considered a first-year student. But this can also be known as a freshman. So you'll also hear this term thrown around as well through many colleges and universities. but it's not widely as used anymore and not as preferred to use anymore. A lot of people are starting to use first year student just because freshman is more of a high school terminology because you're like a freshman in high school, right? But also there's a little bit of hazing culture that's around that as well. So most colleges and universities are trying to steer away from that and use first year, but you might hear both first year and freshman used interchangeably. All right, so now let's look at the first year timeline. So this is going to be a really good overview to look at how each month is kind of set up and the different cycles. This is going to be very subjective to the college and university you might be looking or attending at. And again, for some universities use a quarter or a trimester method. Then you'll have other colleges that use semesters. So semesters fall and then spring, and then quarters are usually broken up in between those three. So fall timeline. So you're starting into your fall semester or quarter, usually around June or July, and this is when orientation happens. So again, this is when you're getting familiar with camp. Well, you get invited onto campus for the first week or a few days before the fall semester starts, and you get to learn the environment before all the craziness starts. And sometimes this is when you'll hear of the first year or maybe some summer bridge programs that happened before this or during this time. And some really good things to ask yourself are listed here. But during this time, it's good to ask yourself, when do I move into the dorms? When is that day? When's the last day that I can move into the dorms? And then when does the semester begin? So, and then also, like, did I sign up for classes? Did I meet my advisor? So a lot of this is going to be communicated with you through orientation. So it's definitely very essential for you to check your student email and your personal email as well. Make sure you have those. And then in August and September, fall semester begins. So usually, and the first few weeks, usually first 2 weeks, we'll be reviewing your class syllabus and adjusting to your class schedule. So you'll get to visit the buildings, go to class, and usually during those class periods, you'll just be doing a lot of intro to the course, talking about different terminology, when some essential dates are looking, and then in the syllabus, they'll usually have a schedule at the end where you can see each week broken up into what you're going to be learning during that time. And then when exams are, it's a really, really good tool to utilize and really to look at before you or during when you're going through the first couple of weeks, just so that you can see how everything's going to be. And they usually have some really good dates in there too. Like I have here, when is the add drop date? So that's basically when the day, and it's called census day sometimes, but that's the day when you can add or drop, the final day where you can add a class or you can drop a class. So it won't affect your transcript basically. So again, really good day to find that deadline. And then midterms usually happen around October. Midterms are a checkpoint to see how you're doing in classes before final exams. So to make sure that you're understanding the material, and maybe you need additional help or you need to reach out to a tutor or even your professor as well, just to make sure that you're understanding that material. And then crunch time is usually in November. I say that this is the time before the final exams when you're really doing that prep work, making sure that you're understanding the course material. And then you'll start to see emails and communication from your advisor or the school to register for your next semester classes, so for spring classes. And this is the time to ask yourself, is everything ready for spring semester? Am I all set up for classes? And is there any other scholarships that I can find to help finance my way through college? And then December, that's final season, final exam. You'll hear different terms thrown around here. And that's really the time where you're going to put a lot of time and effort into studying for your exams or completing your final papers or projects. And you get to celebrate finishing your first semester. So this is a good reflection period to find what worked or what didn't work for you that semester. Maybe you found a place that you like to study that you can really focus, or maybe a certain class you didn't really like or you didn't really understand too well. So maybe you don't want to take a similar class or something. So just really a reflection period. All right, so spring timeline. I didn't go too much into this because we're really focusing on the fall, but just to go over it very briefly, January is usually when your next term starts of spring semester or quarter. And it's really important, again, to take note of the important dates and look at your syllabus again. And then February is going to be the standout month, I say, to really prepare for the next year. So take this time to think about your options. Do you have a major that you want to declare? Is there, do you want to continue to stay on campus, or do you maybe want to move off campus? Make sure financial aid's all good to go. This is a good time to start searching for scholarships and start to find different financial aid. And then summer opportunities. So there's going to be a lot of communication and advertisement for, you can take summer classes, or you can work during the summer. Sometimes the school will have different jobs for students so that they can stay on campus and work, or maybe there's going to be like an internship or a fellowship or a travel opportunity for you to travel and then take credit for that. And then March is usually midterms, same as the fall, checkpoint to see how you're doing in classes. And then usually around March and April is when you'll have spring break, which is usually about a week long, give or take. And then April again is crunch time to really start prepping for the final exam season, registration, and then making sure that, you're thinking ahead to the next semester. So I say, in February, that's when you can really start to prepare for next year. But April, I'd say, is like your internal deadline to really make sure everything's set to go for fall. And then May and June, again, is going to be finals. And then, hey, you get to celebrate. You finished your first year of college. So it's going to go by very, very quickly. So now we're going to look at some examples of daily schedules. This is where I really had fun with the different storytelling options, and you'll see why. And this is just to kind of see the different varieties of college student. College students, it's not a linear description. Some students are part-time, some students are full-time, some students have other priorities, like they're working a full-time job, or they have kids, or maybe they're a caretaker. But we'll see some examples here. But first, let's go ahead and define a few words. So I know I've thrown around credit hours. So credit hours is a form of measurement most colleges and universities use to track how many credits a class is worth. So generally, a class is worth around 3 credit hours. So if you're taking 4 classes, you're taking 12 credit hours. But sometimes some colleges might have a different structure. And then a full-time student is any student who's taking 12 or more credit hours. So 12 divided by 3, or 12 times 3, or 12 divided by 3, is 4. So you're taking 4 classes, which equals to 12 credit hours. And then anything less than 12 credit hours is you're going to be part-time status. And then a first-generation student, some of you might qualify as a first-generation student, but it's a student who's the first in their family to attend college. I was a first-year student. I know we have a lot of first-year students on the College Fund staff as well, and we have a lot of support there as well. And then internships, it's when a student works in an organization in order to gain work experience or to satisfy requirements for a degree or qualification. So sometimes you can get college credit for an internship, and usually it's up to you of when you want to take that internship. All right, so we're going to start off with cheese. So cheese, I know in the Reservation Dogs television series, cheese is a little bit younger than the bunch, but this is where the storytelling comes in, where I was thinking a little bit ahead, kind of predicting where cheese would be. So in this scenario, he is a first-year student in college at Haskell Indian Nations University, and he's studying to get his Bachelor of Arts in Creative Writing. So that's the 4-year degree in creative writing. He is a first-generation student, so he's the first in his family to attend college. And he lives off campus and is a caretaker for his grandma. He's also a full-time student taking 12 credit hours, which is 4 classes, and spends approximately 8 to 10 hours of homework on homework per week. So this approximation comes from a general ratio, a rule of thumb of how much time you should spend on doing homework for each credit of class. So for each class, you should spend around 2 to 3 hours on homework or studying or something. So that's where I got the 8 to 10 hours. But sometimes it's different for each class. You might have one that takes a little bit more time to work with, or one might be really quick, easy assignments to get done with. So cheese is really new to the college experience, but he already has a lot of, like responsibilities. I mean, he's a caretaker for his grandma. He lives off campus, so he does have to commute, maybe give or take an hour or so. So he has to really plan his schedule around that, with also looking at his classes and making sure he has enough time for homework and everything. And, just really getting associated on campus. And, he's probably wanting to join some clubs, maybe revolving around his creative writing degree and the fine arts and everything. So a lot of things for him to think about. He's still new. So in this period, there's going to be a lot of, club fairs, work career fairs and everything. And you're going to want to sign up for a lot of stuff, just the excitement of all of it. But it's really important to find and prioritize what needs to be taken care of first before you can sign up for your extracurricular activities, just so that you're not spreading yourself out too thin and becoming overwhelmed and stressed. Our next example is Rita. So Rita is a non-traditional student at the College of the Muskogee Nation, and she's getting her Associate of Science in Tribal Services. She is a parent, and she's also has a full-time job at IHS, working more than 20 hours per week. And she also lives off campus as well, so she has to do a 1-hour commute. She is a part-time student taking 6 credit hours, which are 2 classes each. And she spends about 3 to 4 hours each evening on homework. So we can see Rita has a little bit more priorities and responsibilities than Cheese, who's a first-year student. She already, she has kids. She already has a full-time job that she has to prioritize. But, she also wants to get back into school and get her associates. So she's starting out with 2 classes this term, and then maybe next term she might do another 2 classes, or she might, maybe do 3 classes. But she's juggling a lot of different things here. So she does have to make sure she has enough time to go to work and then do her duties over there, and then have enough time in the evenings to complete her class homework and everything. And then also, take care of her kids and everything, which in the show, she has Bear, who's already kind of old enough to do his own thing, but I'm still, a lot of students who are parents also have to take care of their kids, cook them dinner, or, do different things. So. And then our last one is Alora. So Alora is a full-time student at the Institute of American Indian Arts. She is going to be graduating in spring 2024 next year with her Bachelor of Arts in Cinematic Arts and Technology, so film student. But this fall, she does have a filming internship with the local film studio. And she also holds leadership roles in 2 clubs. And she does live off campus with a few of her friends in an apartment. And she's taken 5 classes this fall, which are going to be 15 credit hours. So she spends around 10 hours a week on homework. So this will be a little bit challenging to struggle, just because she also has the internship as well. But with the internship, in return, she's also getting that real life experience in the field that she wants to work in. So she's doing a lot of these things to prepare for her last year in college. So as you can see, with all those different examples, everybody kind of sets their own schedule. And you might even say, be thinking internally, oh, you have to think about the time that it takes to get to campus, or, after you work, you might want to eat dinner, and then you have to do your homework, or you have to watch the classes that might be recorded, or you might have to meet up with somebody to do a group project or something. So there's a lot of different things that happens in the daily life of a college student, and it varies within the different study or the college course that you're taking. And it's really up to you to kind of help build and develop your schedule and your daily routine. So that's our next section. How do I build my schedule? So how to build my schedule, we're going to go over a few tips. So it's really essential for you to find tools that work for you. So this can be a physical planner, an online calendar, or some type of reminder app. Usually online calendars do give you the option to have a reminder set with it. So whether you like physical or you like, digital, or maybe you like to use both. I know I like to use both back when I was in college, just so that I have, backups and everything. But I also really like to put sticky notes and do check boxes. And I love checking off things at the end of the week, just to, say that I did all this stuff. And then note important dates. So definitely, again, add drop dates. Those are going to be really essential for you. Those are called census days sometimes, but that's going to be the last day for you to add or drop any classes. School closures, any holidays that you're not going to have any school, and then exam days as well. So again, pro tip, your class schedule will have a semester outline, including exam dates and deadlines for any final exams, papers, or projects. So your syllabus is going to be a really, really good tool for you to utilize. Color coding really helps organize your thinking. I know it definitely helps me because I'll have, one color be, deadlines at the end of the week that I really need to spend time on, or one will be like an appointment that I have, maybe an eye or a dental appointment or something. One will be, another color will be like club meetings or something. So it really just helps you kind of make important items and deadlines stand out, so that, that might help you, or, there's other options to utilize as well. And establishing a routine to help you stay on track of all of these aspects are going to be really essential for you, just so that you know how much time a day that you have, should anything change, like if you need to go pick up something or somebody, and you have time to go do this, or you might want to go grab lunch with a friend and you have a certain amount of time before classes begin again to go, or you need to work on, something for class, you'll see and you'll kind of visualize what blocks of time you have free to do other things, basically. So it's really good to help establish yourself in a routine. And this is just an example of my planners that I use. So like I said, I like to use the calendar and my planner. I really love to color code, love highlighting. And again, I love my check boxes to be able to check off things that I get done as I go. So different colors for different things, meetings, classes, deadlines and stuff. And in a way, I miss being this busy, but I'm also busy in another sense with this job. So I definitely miss having my planner. I definitely need to get back into that again. But here's some more time management tips. So these are going to be really essential to help you. And the big thing is going to be to plan out your week before the week begins. So Sundays are usually a great day to reset, the Sunday reset, to plan out what needs to get done and what's coming up for the week. So again, you can plan out if you have kids, when you need to pick them up, or maybe they might have any like doctor appointments, or for yourself when you have any appointments, or you're going to have any club meetings, or when you're working, when your shifts are, and then when your classes are going to happen. And then also schedule time out for you to do your homework. And then also prioritize and pick out the big deadlines and most urgent items that are going to take the most time. Those are going to be really good for you to visualize and say, okay, I can't do this day because I have to work on my class paper during that time. And, life happens. There's always going to be some type of distraction, or you're going to, get distracted. So sometimes our biggest distraction is our phone. I know I always scroll on TikTok all the time. So sometimes it's good to set your phone aside and put it on do not disturb, or, try to, what's it called? Like kind of get away from all the craziness or whatever, like seclude yourself into one area and do your homework or study or something. And there's also focus apps too that you can utilize. Flora is a really good one where you can download onto your phone, and when you have it open, every time that you don't go on your phone, you get to grow a little tree or like a plant. And the longer you stay away from your phone, the more of a garden that you grow. So I think that's just like a cute little creative take on it. But there's also the Pomodoro method, if you've ever heard of it. It's basically 30-minute increments. You work on something for 25 minutes, and then you get a 5-minute break after every 25 minutes. So really good to help you get focused and kind of get on a routine, And then asking for help too. Asking for help is not anything bad. Chances are your other classmates might be trying or, struggling as well, or might be having a hard time on something. So reaching out to your instructor, or several people reaching out to the instructor, might be a good thing, just so that they know, and then maybe they can, stretch out the deadline or something, just to give you more time to do quality work. And staying organized is going to be a really good one as well. If you're taking more than one class, it's really good to separate your notes and other handouts. That can play a huge factor in saving time as well if you're trying to dig through and find something to help you when you're working on your homework or assignments. Having different folders or different notebooks can be really helpful and just, save you all the time. That way you don't have to be looking through all of them. So we're going to look at some focus and motivation, and I know we're almost at time, so let's just try to go through this. Focus and motivation is also a really big thing as well. You're going to hit some times where you might get a bad grade on a test or an assignment, or something might be happening in your personal life or social or something, life happens. I mean, life doesn't freeze when you're in school or when you're in college or anything. So it's very easy to get distracted or lose motivation. But it's something that we have to try to help and balance with. And it's really, really important to find your support system, whether that's a group of friends that you have or your family or like a mentor you might have, or even your own advisor, your academic advisor. I know I was very close with my academic advisor, and she was always open. Her door was always open for me to go talk to her if I ever had any things just to vent about, or, just wanted to talk to somebody. But identify what draws your focus away from your studies and assignments. Again, our phones can be our biggest distraction, but sometimes you do have to have your phone because, you might have somebody trying to contact you or something, but, just make sure that it's not taking too much of your time away from your studies and assignments, or, ask for help if you need something to alleviate stress. Another thing to do too is change locations. A new scenery can really refresh the mind. Being in a new environment, whether you go to the library on campus, or maybe you're at home and you can move to the kitchen table, or you can just go for a walk outside, just to try to refresh your mind, and do a grounding exercise. So kind of like meditation, you can close your eyes, listen to what's around you, see what you can feel, what you can smell. And then just kind of ask yourself and remind yourself, what are your values? Why are you in college? Why did you choose to go to college? Who are you doing this for? Are you doing it for yourself? Are you doing it for your family, your kids, your community? Just ask yourself all those questions to help yourself get regrounded and bring attention back to the center of, your value of why you're in school and everything. Just really, really good to kind of help yourself get back into that mindset when things get stressful. But other than that, it's really important to take care of yourself as well. Time management isn't just about getting work done. It's also about setting time aside for yourself to help keep your mental, physical, and emotional health in balance. Because if you can't take care of yourself, then you're not going to be able to focus and to get things done as well. You always have to prioritize yourself. And also having things to look forward to can be helpful when going through stressful periods. So whether it's, maybe a really fun camping trip happening, or you're having like a family gathering, or you're going to a really cool event at the end of the week or something, or even just making it through the weekend, being able to have a couple days just to rest and not think about school, that can be something to look forward to. Just anything to help motivate yourself get through stressful periods. And then if you're struggling on an assignment or project, step away and do something else. You can get up, walk around, just move your muscles and everything, stretch, or you can look on your agenda and see what are some assignments that I can get done right away right now, just so that you're still getting something done, you're still getting productive, and it doesn't require a lot of time. And then, like I said, go for a walk, lay down, close your eyes, or stretch. Make sure you're sectioning out time for yourself to go eat and to get enough rest as well. I know in college, it's a really popular thing to do all-nighters and stay up in the early hours of the morning, but try not to make that a consistent thing, because it can be very detrimental, and it can affect your mental and physical health as well. So try to make sure you're getting enough rest. But yeah, what does a successful semester quarter look like? It really depends on you. There's no cutthroat answer or anything. I know in Western society, they really talk about numeric successes, so high GPA, a high grade, and everything. And in a way, yes, that still is success. It depends on you. If that looks like success to you, then that's success to you, But there's also other factors that can be success and can be your value. Maybe you joined a club that you really, really enjoyed and you learned a lot from, and you met a lot of great people. And then maybe you have a clear image of your field of study. You took a class that you really like, and you really, really are sure about going into nursing or into engineering or into art or something, maybe you really, really are, set to go. And then another thing is you can just be completing the quarter or the semester, just getting through that in good standing. That's another really great, successful accomplishment as well. So it's really depending on what you find as success. So to end off, Ferris Bueller's Day Off is one of my favorite movies. And one of my favorite quotes from that movie that I also love to talk to myself is life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. So again, going with the whole life doesn't stop outside of school, definitely take some time to prioritize your own well-being and make sure that you're also living in the moment as well. We get so caught up in planning for the next steps and everything, but definitely take some time to just exist in the present and be grateful for the things that you do have and show gratitude and, just kind of take a break, live for the moment right now. But yeah, again, here's the flyer. We're going to be doing a lot more sessions revolving around this and more like academic prep work and other like personal development in the first year summer series. So again, this is going to be happening on August 8th through the 30th. If you're interested, please definitely sign up for the newsletter and we'll find more information and we'll be releasing the schedule of events to come out pretty soon in August. But yeah, thank you so much. Again, my name is Adriana. And I know we're at time, but if anybody has questions, I will sit back here for a second and let me go ahead and put the Survey Monkey. That's the sign up for the newsletter if you want to know more information on the first year summer series happening in August. But thank you all so much. I think we're going to be meeting at the main stage again for the closing. So you can feel free to excuse yourself back to the main stage, or if you have any questions, you can type them in the chat. If you want to show your screen, you can request to have your screen, I think, shown, and then I can talk to you if you want. So